guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, gonna go over a story which most certainly will be the crazy story of the week. So be sure to grab your popcorn because this is not one you're gonna forget anytime soon. And the title is, my fiance, 30-year-old male, found out about my college days and hasn't talked to me in 3 days. I don't know if this is the end. And guys, this story is written from the girlfriend or the female fiance. And long story short, her fiance, he found out about her past. He found out what she was really like during the college years. And let's just say the old term about riding the carousel, that doesn't come close to what she was doing in college. Your typical carousel rider looks like a saint compared to her college years, let me tell you. And as you can imagine, this guy found this out, and it didn't exactly go very well with him. And as I go into this story, guys, you're going to see how absolutely dismissive she is about this whole thing. Now, what's interesting is that she is 28 years old. This was written a year ago. So we're probably looking at around the time period of 2010, 11, 12, give or take, when this was going on. And obviously nowadays, more and more younger people are less interested in dating and hooking up and all that, especially like the teens and high school level. I've noticed this from people I know that have kids and all that. But still, what goes on goes on. But this was 10 years ago, and the impact of how things are today weren't as much. And like I said, guys, this is one you're definitely going to remember. So it starts off, I've been with my fiance for 2 years and engaged for 2 months. I can go on and on about how great he is, but I won't waste your time. He's awesome. Well, if he was that awesome, you probably should have told him about your past before you got engaged, before you got down on one knee and proposed, because you were getting down on your knee many a times, and he should have been aware of this. He says, he and my sister's boyfriend have gotten really close over the past year, and they talk at least twice a week, whether on the phone or on FaceTime or just hanging out with the four of us. My sister has been with her boyfriend since high school, so obviously her boyfriend knows me very well, as well as my dating history. Her dating history, that is putting it mildly. Normal people date. Her situation is well beyond dating. She's definitely sugarcoating this, guys. She says, last weekend, because of the quarantine, this was written over a year ago, so this is obviously right when the whole COVID lockdown began. Everybody was doing Zooms to hang out. Last weekend, because of the quarantine, we all thought it'd be fun to drink and hang out over FaceTime. It was a FaceTime double date, and we all had a blast. Laughing, playing drinking games, we all partied for over an hour, and that's when I was over it and decided to leave the party, call my sister directly without the boys in another room. Well, my fiance and her boyfriend stayed on FaceTime and continued to get drunk together. During this time, and she says in parentheses, I could hear shit because I was in another room and was talking to my sister. My sister's boyfriend goes and tells a bunch of stories about my college days and how many guys I hooked up with. Uh-oh. Yeah, this guy who obviously the sister's boyfriend had told this girl's fiance about this stuff, obviously he was trashed and obviously not thinking clearly of what can happen, letting this guy know about her real past, the real story. Now, maybe at that point he felt they were buddies. He felt like he should know, but of course he was drinking and he's young and wasn't completely, knowing what's going on. Who knows? But let's just say after what comes out, I don't know if he's going to be dating the other sister pretty soon. Now listen to this. She says, just so everybody knows, I don't know the actual number. She doesn't know the actual number of dudes that she dated, or in other words, had fun with. Guys, most people have a kind of a ballpark idea, okay? I mean, most people actually know the number. But if they have very high numbers, you might have a ballpark idea. She doesn't even have that. What does that say? She says, my first 3 years of college was literally one giant party. Without being too descriptive, I admit I was, and she says in quotations, excessive. But at the time, it was just what we did. I was single during that time, and me and my friends, did a lot. I would really like her to elaborate more. I am very curious. I would love to be able to just have a psychic power and to be able to go into her head. I might be scared and terrified out of my mind what I would see. But I mean, curiosity's gotten the best of me. I really want to know what was going on. I'm picturing stuff that you'd imagine on some of those websites you find online. I don't need to elaborate there. She says, I did a lot with a lot of guys. Most of them I couldn't even pick out of a lineup. But again, and she says in giant letters, I was in college. That's the mindset. Hey, I'm in college. I can do whatever I want. And don't get me wrong. You're young. You're having a good time. There's a difference between having a good time and having a good time with everybody in the entire state. And that's what it sounds like here. The fact that she has no idea what number she has. The fact that she says, most of them I couldn't pick out in a lineup, which means she was obviously, there's been so many, and she's so trashed or high, she has no idea. Anyways, one of the parties I went to, I ended up hooking up with 4 different guys at the same time. No joke. And she has this in parentheses. This is relevant later. Guys, you're going to walk away with, for you relationship guys, I promise you at the end of this story, you're going to be looking at your girlfriends differently. You're going to be very curious after you watch this video looking at your girlfriends. You guys that are obviously date and hook up and do rotations and all that, this is going to be an example why you should most certainly protect yourself. Always wear protection and be very careful and get to know who you're with. A little tip there. A little halftime tip there. She says, my fiance is handsome as fuck, and I know for a fact he's been with several women. I guarantee you the amount of women he's been with doesn't come close to the amount of dudes she's been with, let alone dudes at the same time. And remember, it's the old joke that whatever number guys give, divide it by 3, because by and large, guys are usually full of shit. They'll exaggerate greatly. And whatever number the woman gives, multiply times 3. So I can begin to imagine maybe we need a IBM supercomputer to compute her numbers here, but seriously. She says, he's been with several women. We talked about our past a lot in the beginning of our relationship. I wasn't 100% with mine, and I can only assume that he was. No, she most certainly wasn't 100% honest about her past with this guy. I would bet at best she was 5% honest about her past with this guy. And yet she had no problem letting him be with her, propose her and all that, and meanwhile have no idea about her past. But this gets worse. After everyone hung up, me and my fiance were laying in bed and about to go to sleep when he calmly asked me, did you get gang you know what in college? Imagine that. They're laying in bed, about to go to sleep. Oh, good night, baby. Oh, by the way, did you get this in college? I can just picture me like, what? My response was, WTF, why would you ask that? That's when he told me everything that my sister's boyfriend told him. He told me details I'm not even sure are 100% true because, again, it's a blur. It is that bad that she can't possibly remember that it's a blur. That many times that it's a blur. Let alone you think she remembered some details about the 4 dudes, okay? I mean, I'm trying to imagine the logistics here of 4 dudes, okay? Okay, there's only so many holes, but our hands are also available. But a lot of the info was accurate, and so I just told him, yes. It was one time. Sure, how many times has that phrase been uttered? Oh, it was just one time that I had 4 dudes. Sure. He continued asking questions about other stuff, but the gang you-know-what thing kept coming up. And he had a lot, and she had giant letters, a lot of questions about it that I answered to the best of my knowledge. Today's world, guys. Thanks to the S-word revolution and the F-ness movement, go do whatever you want. This is what you got. Again, you guys have girlfriends or wives. You're going to be looking at them a little differently tonight or today after you watch this video. Fast forward to Wednesday, things have been fine and normal Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I guarantee you, sweetheart, things are not fine and they certainly aren't normal, not anymore. He does not see you in any way, shape, or form the same way. But on Wednesday, radio silence. He hasn't texted or talked to me in 3 days. The breaking point was tonight when he came home from work and asked me, are you friends with any of the guys on Facebook? Remember, this is the girl who said she doesn't know how many guys she's been with. It's a blur, and so on and so forth. Again, not lying to him, I admitted that yes, I was friends with all of them. How big is her Facebook friend list? She's friends with and connected to, apparently to her, all the dudes that she had fun with in college. Remember I tell you guys that women always have guys in a rotation, orbiters, if you will. There's always backup available in case things don't go right with current boyfriend, fiance, or in some cases, husband. Not cool. So she's been lying to him all this time, and still, first of all, she said she didn't know. She has no idea how many there were, but now she says that all of them are Facebook friends. So which one is true? All those dudes. And this guy has no idea. He probably met her at church for all we know. Continues. He left a few hours ago. Imagine that. And I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. I'm tempted to call the cops, but I feel like that will just make it worse. I feel like garbage. Yeah, I want to go calling the cops. What is she going to say? She's going to call the cops and say my fiance, he disappeared because he found out about my past, that I had relations with an amount of guys I don't know. The cop will probably be like, are you Jessica? And recognize her, and he'd probably be one of them. Who the hell knows? Feel like garbage? That's an understatement. She says, I effing hate my sister's boyfriend right now, and maybe it's not even his fault. Maybe I should have been more honest. You think? Hey, what happened happened. At the end of the day, she's the one that didn't tell him. Okay? If they're getting married, you gotta know who the hell she is. Welcome to today's world, guys. I'm so lost. He is the best thing to ever happen to me, and I've never seen him like this before. Is this the end? You're actually asking this question? He refused to return my calls. Well, let me tell you something. This guy is probably headed for the hills. He's probably now in some kind of treatment facility getting multiple chemical showers, probably a blood transfusion, and having a witch doctor perform ceremonies to cleanse his soul of evil spirits, doing anything he can, and probably soaking his you-know-what in some antiseptic chemical for probably a week. After all that, I'd certainly be doing at least one of those. What do you expect? Is this over with? Yeah, it's over with. Okay? I don't know any normal guy that would actually continue on knowing this information. I mean, would any of you guys continue on with this? Let me know in the comment section. So what I would say here is this, is that you make your bed and you lie in it. No pun intended there. Okay? Yeah, everybody does things when they're younger. Okay, we all have a past. We all do things we may regret. We all may be adventurous and all that. But this takes things, like I said in the beginning, to a whole new level. And the best thing she could have done initially was been honest with the guy. Okay, so there's lying, and there's, of course, the shock. I mean, I'm literally picturing like the scene in the movie Clerks. If many of you guys saw that movie, there's a scene in the movie where the main character, he's talking to his girlfriend, and one thing leads to another, and he finds out that prior to dating him, she had sucked many lollipops, so to speak. 36, in fact. And when he finds out, he goes, what number am I? And she says 37. He's like, I'm 37? You guys know the part, the shock. That's probably the equivalent of the shock for this guy. I immediately thought of that movie when I saw this. But anyhow, I'm going off here. But yeah, this is over. Okay, don't even waste your time. All right? The best thing she could do is simply apologize for not telling him the truth, not being upfront with him and stuff like that. But even then, this guy, I mean, I don't know any guy in his right mind would continue on with her. And I'm willing to bet you, mark my words, that she isn't even remotely freaky with this guy, because this is the guy she wants to be, the wholesome one with, that she was with the guys in the past. Mark my words. So, but anyhow, guys, like I said, you're going to look at your gals, for you relationship guys, different after hearing this story. Now, here are a few comments. I couldn't resist. I had to read some of the comments, and I'm going to go over a few of them that people said about this particular story. One guy says, to be fair, I don't think, babe, I'm still friended with all the guys I had to gang, with back in college. But all is in the past now. It's good to say, I'm not saying that she should hide it, but maybe she should think about unfriending them and having mature talk with him before things turned out like this. Right. Amongst the many other things she's doing here, why is she still connected to those guys on Facebook? Well, I know the answer to that, because there's always backup. There's always orbiters, and just in case things don't go well. And, the old thing about how the study's been done about how in the brain chemicals are released. I did an article about this the other day, where pretty much after so many rolls in the hay, so to speak, people, especially women, have a hard time, they call it pair bonding, connecting. Imagine this situation. You don't think she's going to stray? Things don't go well the way she wants in the relationship? Come on here. Guy says, he says, You say you weren't 100% honest. Cut the bullshit. You lied to him, and now you've been found out, and you're seriously going to call the cops and waste police resources because he walked out on you a few hours ago? Grow up. You sound like a nightmare. And another one says, girl, I'm going to be real with you, woman to woman. So this is coming from a woman's perspective. You're engaged, yet you kept the guys that you effed on Facebook. Why? What purpose does that serve? Well, the woman writing this should know the real reason, the purpose it serves. If you're serious about your fiancé, you should have cut contact with people you randomly effed. That's just common courtesy. It can only, and she put that in giant letters, only lead to hurt feelings and lack of trust to keep people you effed on your friends list. It's basically like keeping a backlog of people that you can maybe eff again later in time. See? So she does know. Now you're finding that social media can't truly be the demise of an otherwise happy relationship. And the last one says, yeah, it's over. It's very over. And to be perfectly honest, you're going to struggle to find a guy who's cool with his girlfriend having been gang you-know-what by her male friends. Just saying. Right, exactly. So it's over. Move on. Join a convent. Who the hell knows? Or nunnery, whatever the hell they call it. That guy's probably off becoming a monk. Or who the hell knows what. He's definitely going to find God now after all this, after his many, many medical exams and chemical showers and all that. But holy shit. I told you guys I wasn't kidding. This is the crazy story of the week. So it's over. It's toast. But there are those out there that think that after all that just a guy could be like, okay, no problem, baby. You had some fun. You experimented. Okay, we'll move on. And that won't come back to haunt me one day. Bullshit. That guy would probably find out that eventually there'll be videos of her out there on different certain websites. I'm waiting to hear that. So, but anyway, guys, not a long video, but a quick story. I thought you'd find this entertaining for today. Again, you just never know nowadays. So for you guys that do date and hook up, be careful. Wear your protection. Be safe, because you just never know. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Oh, yeah, by the way, and for those of you guys that do relationships are going to get serious, you better do everything you can to find out about her past before you get down on one knee and give her the ring. Not that I recommend that, but you know what I mean. Every bit of screening you can do, but even then, good luck. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.